Hello and welcome to Kate's Paper Creations. I'm Kate, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Washington State on the beautiful Olympic Peninsula. So glad to have you joining me today for my weekly current catalog video where I feature products from one of the current Stampin' Up! Catalogs. Today I am going to be featuring the Blossoms in Bloom bundle. So it's the stamp set and the dies. I'm going to be using the blue adhesive backed gems and the Tasteful Texture 3D embossing folder. All of these are items that will be returning with the new 21-22 annual catalog. I'm also going to be using the mini messages bundle that has, and I don't have it handy for some reason. Not sure where it went. Anyway, the mini messages bundle is also included in this project for today. And this is the card we're going to be making. For this card, I used Bermuda Bay ink and cardstock, as well as basic white, thick, and regular, and adhesive sheets, and the Bermuda Bay ink pad, the Stamparatus, and some other things. So let's get started. I'm started by, get everything unburied here, by taking 2 pieces of regular basic white and cutting them 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 and backing them with adhesive sheets. So that's the double-sided adhesive, okay? I backed them with that and then used both of the dies in the Blossoms and Blooms stamp set to cut out these 2 pieces. Now this is the detailed tiny piece, and then this one will fit behind it on the card like this. Both of these have adhesive on the back. And this is cut from Bermuda Bay, and this is cut from basic white. And we're going to have a basic white thick base card, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4, and then we are going to stamp it with an image, with the flower image that is in the bundle, and that's this image right here. And I have already figured out where I want it to be placed, but let me show you. I'm going to just go ahead and put my card right in here, and then what I did, because you want the, these are just very close to the same size as a card front. And so you've got to place it carefully or you'll have stuff matching the fold, going over the fold or going off the edge. And I didn't want to do that. So I placed this piece in here so I would know where I want it. And then I placed, peel it up here. And then I placed this over it so that it would line up. Let's see, I think I gotta turn it like that. So that matches the die cut, and then I put the die cut where I wanted it so I'd know where I wanted that placed, and then I picked it up with the Stamparatus and peeled that off. So now I know that this is going to stamp on here where I want it to be. Then I used, like I said, the Bermuda Bay ink pad. Here it is. And I wanted it lighter. I didn't want the full color, so it's going to get stamped off once. So I'm going to ink it up really good. Make sure lots of ink on it. I'm going to bring in one of my baby wipes and clean up around it. Like that. There we go. And then I am going to place a piece of scrap paper in here. And I don't care if it's fastened down. And I am going to press that in place. And then I bought me a dry erase eraser, because this works so cool for going in here and doing this. And just pushing on that all the way around so that it inks well. There it is. That's the darker color that I didn't want. Now I'm going to put it back down and do it again. And because that's so much lighter, I'm going to give it a good working over. A little bit more. That's what's nice about the Stamparatus, is you can put it back in place and press it some more. And that's actually good enough. So there's my card front, and we'll get this out of the way. And you'll see it'll show up, it'll end up showing up really nicely, even though it looks quite faint here. Now, before I attach anything, I wanted some texture. And so I'm going to texturize this using that Tasteful Textile embossing folder. And I will show you the sandwich I used and how I did that. So I put this in here like this, and you can see where the edge of the design ends. And I put that embossed seam line, that scored seam line, right on the edge of that, because I didn't want to go too far into the back of the card, and yet I wanted the full front. I didn't want some cutoff line there. And then the sandwich for this is just your base plate number 1, your folder with your cardstock, and base plate number 4. That's what you're going to use to emboss that. Let me do that. And bring it back, and then you can see the texture on there. Okay, so the first piece that's going to go down is this piece, and I'm going to line it up with the flower image behind. It's a little bit faint, but you can see it, and it's going to work just like that. But I just need to take the backing off of the adhesive sheet that I put on here, and we will carefully peel that up like that. And I know I've got the right direction, so it's just a matter of getting it pretty close. You don't have to be like super exacting. And just a little bit of that color shows through, and I really like it. I think I got a little bit more color on this one, and I do like it with just a little bit more, but that's okay. So there's that piece, and then we're going to bring in this piece, and again, it's got the adhesive on the back, and you can see that some of these little spots didn't come out when I took it off of the cutting plate, but when you peel this away, a lot of those will come out, if not all of them. And so I don't worry too much about them. You can see most of them did come off. I'll bring in a piece of scratch paper, and these few little ones that didn't, you can just very lightly poke them and they'll stick to the scrap paper and finish coming out. There's one that's always stubborn. We will win. I will win. I will win. There we go. Let's see, was there another one? Oh, here's one. Always good to check for those little hangers on so that they don't distract from the finished product. There we go. Okay, then it's just a matter of lining these up, and you don't have, if you just lay it down slowly and carefully, you can get the pieces to line up with the edges of your colored cardstock. And just keep going. There we go. And we'll press that into place. Oh, that double-sided adhesive is so nice. I mean, wow. So cool. Then, of course, we're going to just take and fold this and burnish the fold so that it folds closed nicely. And then I added a sentiment, and I didn't want it to cover up too much, so I really liked those long, skinny sentiments that come with the Mini Messages dies. This one says, hoping your day is full of love, laughter, and joy. I can make that a birthday card, an anniversary card. Then Also in that is this one, thinking of you with sympathy and prayers. I'll put some mini dimensionals on the back of that to give it a little bit of lift. We'll put on 3 or 4 of those. On the back of that. And I kind of liked it at the angle, but it's up to you. But I kind of liked the angle, gave it a different look. And then I needed some bling, so I added those blue adhesive backed gems, and there's 2 colors in here, a lighter blue and a darker bluish green. I'm using the darker of the 2, and just wherever it strikes your fancy, of course, is where you can put these, but this is where I put mine. Just like that. And there's the finished card. So that's this week's super simple current catalog card. I hope you enjoyed it. It's just another way to utilize that beautiful stamp set that's going to be staying with us. So that's what's really cool, is we'll get more opportunities to be creative with that in the future. So I hope you enjoyed stopping by. I do have a link for my online store in the description below with the current host code. So if you shop with me online and purchase less than $150, if you'd use the current host code, that would be great. If you're watching this and it's not April of 2021, my host codes can be found on my blog site, and there's a link for that as well. I appreciate you stopping by and enjoying my free Stampin' Up! Tutorial.